Sudhakar. So should I go ahead? Like,
1 second, I'm just going over your agenda. Give me a second. Yeah, Shravan, please start. Can you please brief about yourself and your experience with Jboss training?
Okay. Been supporting for almost 14 years now on middleware application servers. Hosted WebSphere application server environments, WebLogic, Tomcat, Jboss, and from past 8 years, have been migrating environments from WebLogic to Jboss EAP 6 and 7. So upgradation started from last 1 year, from 6 to 7. So that's the trend which I observed, where the client started moving away from closed code enterprise application servers like WebLogic and WebSphere. And from 2013, I have been training. I have trained 200 plus employees and have given corporate trainings on Jboss EAP, and close to around 100 plus employees across the globe got certified on Jboss EAP under me.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah. So this is my intro.
Yeah, okay. Just to brief about myself and our requirements, Shravan.
Okay, sure. Please go ahead. And I'll make a note so that I can, so that when I start my training, so that I'll keep my focus on your requirements and I'll realign so that your requirements are fulfilled as part of your project requirements. Go ahead, please. 1 second. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not like going to talk about the requirements in detail, but just to give you an overview, right?
Okay.
We are like currently working, our team here is working on WebSphere application server.
Okay.
And we are going to get us trained on the Jboss EAP 7. That's what we are looking for. And the complete administration package on the Jboss administration, which includes the Apache as well. The Apache configuration and the proxy stuff with respect to Apache.
Okay.
So in coming to Jboss, apart from the regular agenda, we're looking in specific on the clustering, load balancing, security configurations. If you can give some more detail in those areas, like the messaging configurations, things like that. Okay. Looking at your agenda, right? It's pretty, it's pretty impressive. I really like your syllabus.
Okay.
So if needed, we can tweak a little bit, but I don't see any major things that require changes. But just giving you a like overview of the current team and what our expectations are from the training.
Okay. Okay. And I'm talking to Sudhakar, right? Sorry, I forgot name.
Right. It's Sudhakar.
Sudhakar. Yeah. So the current environment is on VAS, and any plans to do the migration to Jboss in future?
Yes. That's why we are looking for.
Okay, got you. Okay, got you, Sudhakar.
And we also have like a team who do not currently have plans to migrate, but it's going to be a team, and some members have that requirement of migration, but rest would be
mix of both. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, Sudhakar. Okay, I got all your requirements. So my training will be based on the schedule which I have shown you here. So things which will be covered are end-to-end. I'll just give you a brief. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, can you please minimize that notepad? I would like to check both.
Yeah, before that, couple of minutes before where I'll give you an what things, how the things are covered. So let's take a simple example where you are setting up your VAS environment. It would be the same where I teach the things. we'll do with the Apache instances, and then we have a cluster of Jboss instances like this. Okay, and then we have a backend DB, and then in real time, though, we have a FI load balancer as a front end. Whenever we hit www.icacbank.com or any other URL, that resolves to add an IP. You know that.
Right. Yeah.
192.168, let's say 0.1. And that comes and falls on your FI load balancer, which is there in your data center.
Right.
And it depends on client specific. I have given training to clients like Wells Fargo and TCS, where even for a middleware admin, they have given access to this FI load balancer Cisco switch. Though I do agree, it's purely like CCNA and system admin should have access to this console and Linux or its own operating system prompt. However, they do give some kind of privileges to add a pool members here. Yeah, but I do not know how your environment is there. It depends. So what they do is
We
you
have
add
a
these two.
dedicated team.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. So we add a real IPs, not the public IPs, dual, and then. But as point of example, I'm just showing you this, where we make entries of these two IPs as a pool members of this. Something like this. Hold on 1 second. Where you have 10.10.0.1 and then the second 10.10. Okay. Now, FI has its own intelligence. It does a load balancing using a round robin. The first request is sent to first Apache instance, and the second to this one. And in general scenario, all the static pages are placed on web servers. So whatever we see on any of the websites, they are served by web servers. And as part of training, we will discuss what is pre-fork and what is worker-based. How many cores should be allocated to handle how many hits? If we have a plan that our Apache instance should handle 5,000 hits, one instance. And if you have plans to increase the number of hits that should be handled, how many cores you can allocate at the operating system level for a VM if it is on virtualization. If it is a physical boxes, what should be chosen? So once session comes here, then your session should pass to the Jboss application server instances. Now, this Apache is pure static web server. You know that. In WebSphere, we have their own product called IBM HTTP web server, which is a supported product.
Right.
And Red Hat also, so the Red Hat also has JWS, which is Red Hat version of Apache, where we get a support. Because we go on a production, it is always recommended that we have a production enterprise product installed so that we get bugs fixed even at the web server level. So this web server, static web server, doesn't have any kind of intelligence to forward the request to app servers. So that's where you have a plugin, the load balancer. There are three types. One is mod JK, mod proxy, mod cluster. And in EAP7, they brought Undertow. This is a new, which compliance with the HTTP 2.0 protocol standards. So you have to choose one of them, and this adds the intelligence to your web server, where it does send your session to your app server. And this each instance, web container, EJB container, messaging, JDBC, and we have two types of. You go either with a VAS, you go either with a WebLogic, Jboss. It's standard. You have non-XA and XA data sources. Non-XA deals with single databases. XA deals with the distributed transactions. where multiple tables are involved. One of the best example I'll give you, you will make an EMI payment where your salary account is in an ICICI bank, and you make schedule a payment. We do not, let's say we make a payment 10th of every month, and we schedule it in the website, right, Sudhakar? And that happens with this XA data sources, where it deals with the two-phase commit transactions, where it has to satisfy all these asset properties: atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. What it means, at any point of time, if SB database is running on a DB2, and this is running on Oracle, and the query has been triggered where you make a payment. Here 10,000 got deducted, and every 10th of every month, SBI database seems to be under maintenance, and that happens to be a Sunday. So what should happen to this? 10,000 got deducted from here, and this is a partial commit, and now this amount should have got because this DB is under maintenance, because we have triggered that automatically. So it's a partial failure at this side. So the two-phase commit protocol says that any partial failure should lead to complete rollback. That's what all the atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability property says that. And non-XA data source, when you withdraw your amount from your ATM account and all, that only interacts with a single DB, where savings DB. These are the best examples which we can, and there are a lot where you book a tickets, book my show, and all, how the things work. And messaging, we configure message broker, we configure queues and topics, connection factory. If it has to connect to the remote IBM MQ, how to configure that, and then we.
That requirement is
yes,
there, Sean.
Yeah, sure. We'll discuss on that. Message, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
and this Jboss has to communicate. We configure a bridge. When we were migrating, we did not completely migrate because we were migrating slowly the Jboss application servers, but the messaging server was still was on the WebLogic. So we configured JMS bridges so that whenever the request goes, it was pulling from there. And then later on, and finally after cutover, this messaging server was still communicating, because we did not rely on the Hornet queue or ActiveMQ which comes with Jboss. We had IBM WebSphere MQ running for our client. So the the queues were existing over there, and this was communicating with that. We can discuss on that, how to set up, how to the connection factory makes the connection to those queues and topics, sends and consumes and manages the messages. The most important, yeah, all this is important, and as part of training, they should understand how to configure, how to integrate, how to configure Jboss instances, how many profiles are there, what is HA, what is full HA, which profile should be chosen, how to set up clustering, what is multicast cluster, what is unique cast cluster, how to integrate Apache web servers with Jboss application servers. And if this environment is going to be hosted on AWS, why we should go with a mod cluster rather than mod JK? And it has become a standard. And what are the advantages of under tau? And in EAP7, they added something called batch processing. Batch processing, a simple example, clear-cut example, we drop a check in the Dropbox as you go into bank. So these batch jobs should also use the same application JVM instances, which, let's say, Sudhakar, 9 a.m. to, I would say, 11:30 or 12 is the peak time for a banking site. And then again starts somewhere around 2, right? 2 in the afternoon, and maybe 3, 4. For these, all the hits are handled by these WebSphere, WebLogic, or Jboss application server instances. Now, when should this batch job should get triggered? These get triggered during off timings, somewhere between 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. till midnight 3. That's where your batch processing gets triggered in these application server instance, and that has been added in EAP 7. Under tau and EA batch job processing has been extra subsystems which were added here, Sudhakar.
What is that undertow? I never heard of that.
Undertow is the latest. These two, like these three, undertow is a static plus dynamic page server. You can set
Does
this
it
as a reverse proxy. Yes. Good.
Okay, so it's like similar to that mod proxy and cluster plugin.
Yes. No, this is yeah. You don't need. Let me tell you, you cannot use undertow in production. One thing. Second thing, I'll tell you the advantage of using undertow in development testing environment. You remove the Apache, place a undertow here. 1 second. You place a undertow here. Now undertow does the load balancing with these instances. Now the people do ask a question: why should I go with undertow if I have Apache and we can do the load balancing with mod JK mod plus C? Then the answer which Red Hat answered about it is that undertow takes the responsibility of removing the load from the app servers. Apache only serves you static pages, but undertow serves you static and dynamic pages. The session will not go to your app servers. Only when you do add to catalog, add to bucket, when you do a transaction, that's where EJB transaction management should get triggered. That's when your session goes to your app servers. So in one way, it's removing the load from your app servers. It's taking more responsibility. The demerits of this: it's a Java-based web server. Undertow is a Java-based web server. Apache is in itself is a pure by native product itself, separate product. But since it's added in latest version, Sudhakar, I haven't seen people using this as a web server.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What would be the like how advantageous?
But still, we can go with the web development environment. We don't need because we have to waste one VM. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is so we'll be covering from. We'll not discuss anything with FI. So we'll be discussing how to configure Apache, how to do load balancing, how to integrate plugins, how threads, how to tune them, how to configure messaging server, JDBCs, logging, LDAP authentication, and then global security in VAS, right? Similarly, how to, if you doesn't want authentication with a flat file, you want to remove the authentication of the console and remove the authentication with LDAP or Active Directory, how to do that. So all these things we'll be discussing.
That will be covered, right? Okay. That's one question which I had. How do we handle the application security in Jboss? That's one thing I think you are going to cover it in security, right?
Yes, that. And there is one more thing called in VAS and WebLogic, when we configure a data source and you save a password, it gets encrypted in your configuration files, config.xml and server index.xml and VAS.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with Jboss. So they have something called Vault. So we have to use that and encrypt them.
We
how
need
to do that. And the other, yes.
Mask the password.
That's correct. Yeah. And yes.
Okay.
Generate that, and then the final thing which I forgot is two-way SSL, where in VAS we use IKEAM, and here we use KeyTool or OpenSSL. How to set up SSL, how to enable HTTPS port, and set up two-way communication. And so, like, how is the environment? Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I'm asking many questions. Like, what would be the product which you would be using for database and MQ?
Open source, MySQL.
MySQL, and how the session would be like? How are you planning the working sessions? Will it be a VM based or a local deploy?
No, tell me one thing. How is your environment? If there are how many students, like is it going to Windows boxes? If it is a Windows boxes, we'll install on that VMware workstation, and then import. I have OVA file. We'll import it into that. So if there are
Yeah, that's
15 or
something
20 whatever,
thing.
yeah, is that
The
okay?
audience would not be higher side. It would be less than 10. Audience will not be a higher side. So that we can like discuss later as well. The system requirements. Probably everyone would be
No, but
carrying their
how
own
does the
laptop.
session so that, like if I keep showing them, won't they be doing in parallel with me the sessions?
Yeah, we have to do that. That's the lab should be in place. That is the reason I'm
Oh,
asking. If
okay, the
you're
lab will be in
looking for,
place, but in front, are those Linux boxes or Windows boxes?
I have to check that what our
Yeah,
training room has.
cascade that information, because based on that, I would recommend if there's a Windows boxes, no issues. We will install VMware Workstation, download, and then I'll give an OVA file, import, finish. It has everything, and then it has all
Uh,
the 13 chapters, labs. One lab,
okay. And is that
we'll
a
have a session.
Windows or is that a Windows image or a Linux image that you're
Linux,
going to call?
Linux.
Linux.
Yes,
Okay, that helps us.
yeah. So for each chapter, we
And
have 13 labs.
okay. Go ahead.
So we'll have a session, and then the practical session, and then the practical. So it would be like that.
But I'm seeing like you mentioned like 8 days, right? For the entire course. The one which I got.
Yeah.
8 days, and it's going to be a 3-hour session per day.
Yes.
I'm just looking at that duration. Can we cut it down to less days? Because 8 days, I don't think we have that much.
That is my. That is in the worst case scenarios which I planned. My expectation is that if the see, once I come down, I won't get them. If I go out, once I go out, I teach training. They should be hands-on with the Jboss application server. So I read the pulse of them, and if they are very good, like they are catching, my intention is to complete as soon as possible. If you want me to sit for 2 days, 9 to, so 9 to 9, I'll complete in 2 days. No. If you give me only Saturday and Sunday, I'll complete. Only give me Saturday. I'll complete.
Not do it that aggressively, okay? Let's go with your schedule. Maybe we'll limit to 5 or 6 days if we can able to catch up.
Even that, that would be a plan. Because a couple of guys should not feel that they missed what I'm saying, because I go in some certain flow thinking that everyone is Sudhakar. But one of the freshers should not feel what is this guy saying which is out of scope.
Yeah, understood. Like one thing is most of the members would be of all segments. That's what I have information as of now. So I'm thinking they can catch you in a better pace. So maybe some things they might be lacking because not everyone is not an expert, right? So definitely they need some training here and there. So we'll go with the standard procedure and standard plan, Sean.
Yeah. So for that, I have to reach out 1-2 days before. I have to understand your lab, especially if it is Windows. I have to get that VMs installed and all. It will take a couple of hours to set up that environment. If there are 15 boxes, 15 systems,
we can take care. Yeah, that lab setup, everything we can give you some time, and we can engage a network guy who can help you out with all your questions.
Yes.
So they will come into picture, and that for the lab setup and the rest of the things. You need not worry about that.
Okay, Sudhakar.
Even I am not concerned with that. I can tell you this is my requirement. They are going to get the things in place.
Okay.
Coming to the schedule, the agenda is looking good. I have a PDF which was shared to me.
Yeah.
Is there any difference between like the basic course and advanced course? The one you are talking about is end-to-end, right? The complete course. It includes
Complete
the
course.
advanced topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, the security, clustering,
It's,
tuning.
yes. Performance
Yeah,
tuning.
that's what I'm looking at. Okay, we need that complete package. Okay.
Yes. What is in Java 8 they removed permgen. Now it is a metaspace.
Okay.
So why metaspace is out of heap size? What should be the stack size? How many garbage collection algorithms? Oh, we'll discuss all that.
Yeah. Next. Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah.
Okay, Shravan, do you have
Yeah.
anything else? I think I got the information I need.
Yeah. Only thing is, my priority would be the labs, the environments. If there are 15 machines or 18 machines, whatever, those should be prior setup done, because so that they won't feel if some systems are not working, they will not feel they are doing training. That's the
Yeah,
most priority.
lab part, we will have another discussion on this, Shravan. I have to have a discussion with my IT and our learning development team. And we'll get
Okay.
back to you on this lab setup, okay, in the next call.
Sure, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I took down your like prerequisite. I'm just noting
Okay.
it down. So you require a prior setup for lab
And make a
like
note that
our
if it is Windows boxes, that is also no problem. If it is Linux, that is also no problem. If those all 15 machines are Linux, it is very good. If they are virtual machines, even very good. No issues. Like all these are desktops, and they take a putty session, which each individuals have been allocated each individual VM. Even that doesn't have any issues.
okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I will
If
get
you
back to
connect
you.
me with the IT guy, I can coordinate with him
Yeah,
later on.
that would be the better approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I will coordinate, Sean. Okay.
Okay.
I will have a
Okay.
team. I'll have a dedicated contact for this lab setup, so that he will contact you and take the necessary steps from you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Sean. Thanks for your time, Sean.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice talking to you, Sudhakar.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thank you.
And Chandan, thanks for your time, Chandan.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
So, thank you.
Thank you.